Hi, I'm Stephanie Lindloff from Our Natural Wisdom. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of Reclaim Your Peace with Mother Earth. I am an eco intuitive coach and teacher, and I help women who are struggling with anxiety and self doubt. I help you to relieve that anxiety through simple, sacred moments with Mother Earth. I am wanting to talk with you today about something that's simple, a very simple shift that you can intentionally make in your life that will bring you big healing over time. And this is a really great week to be talking about it because it is the week of the summer solstice. So, solstice blessings to you. The solstice is this Thursday, June 20th. And the summer solstice is really, it's a day, an event that has been celebrated throughout millennia, over millennia in our human history because of the deep significance that it has in terms of recognizing the longest time of daylight in our year, the longest day of light. And summer is that season when so many of us we're busy, we're outside, we're enjoying flowers and vegetables and fruits and all sorts of wonderful gifts from nature. And we can get kind of lost in the busyness of summer. So I just wanted to remind you that really at the heart of the summer solstice is a celebration of the light that you hold within you. The solstice is a beautiful time to reconnect with your your knowing, with your wisdom, with the wisdom that lives within you that you may not be connecting with as often as would be helpful to you. So, one of the most powerful ways, of course, to connect with your inner wisdom is through nature, through deepening your connection with nature. And why is this? Well, we have become so disconnected from the natural world, from Mother Earth, from all of these sacred relationships that we have with all aspects of nature, from flowers and plants and trees and animals to the wind and the rivers and stones and the oceans and landscapes. We have a sacred connection with all of these spaces. And because we have become so disconnected from nature in really since, the Industrial Revolution hundreds of years ago, a couple hundred years ago now, we are experiencing higher levels of anxiety and depression and self-doubt. So this is just another reminder to choose to access that sacred ancient connection that you hold with Mother Earth. And so the teaching for today is really a simple way of reconnecting with your sacred relationship with the earth. Over the years, as we have become more disconnected with nature, one of the things that has happened is that our language has really fostered and led to a greater sense of disconnection through the way that we speak of nature. And one of the most, really at the heart of this, one of the ways that we speak of nature that creates that disconnection is by referring to nature as though it is an inanimate object, as though nature is not alive and offering so much to give us fulfillment and health and joy and beauty and happiness and peace every single day. And the way that we have done this is by referring to nature and aspects of nature as it. We talk about trees as it, and flowers and plants as it, and even animals. I know for those of you that have companion animals or really special connections with animals and plants, you may be using other pronouns to describe them, like he or she or they. And this is a big step toward reconnecting, toward healing the wound of disconnection that so many of us hold these days. And that disconnection that fosters anxiety, depression, and even self doubt because we feel like we are lacking a sense of belonging. And so when we heal the wound of disconnection from nature through the language that we use to describe nature, to talk about your relationship with nature, this might sound like a very simple thing, something that could possibly be ineffective or so subtle that it just doesn't have any impact. But I want you to give it a try. I encourage you to start referring to aspects of nature not as it, but rather as they, or he or she, if you know their gender. There is a lot of beautiful writing that has been done on this exact topic, especially from Robin Wall Kimmerer, who is a renowned professor of botany, plant science. She is also a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. She's written several wonderful essays about this exact topic and about how our the English language has evolved to really continue to refer to nature as though it was an inanimate object, where so many other languages, especially indigenous languages, do not do that. Because, of course, they acknowledge and just know that we have a relationship, that these are more than human beings and spirits that we can have relationships with. And this really is a huge part of healing that wound of disconnection that so many of us are struggling with and are in pain and suffering as a result of. Because when we feel disconnected from the world around us, when we feel that we are not surrounded by support as we are every day, surrounded by the support of Mother Earth, it can definitely amp up our anxiety and create a lot of self doubt and depression in our lives. So I encourage you to begin referring to aspects of nature with a pronoun befitting something that is alive, something that is here to teach us and offer us so much wisdom and healing as a result. And of course, providing us all of the elements that we need to lead healthy and happy lives. So that is the simple action to take. Now, a couple of notes on that. I don't want you to get wrapped up in perfectionism around this, as I have at times, and I am prone to do, a recovering perfectionist. If you find yourself slipping and referring to plants or animals as it, don't beat yourself up. This is a big change. This is a significant change in our vernacular, in our lexicon, in the language that we choose to use. It represents a significant shift, not only in the words that we use, and of course, words have such great power. Words have significant power, as we have seen throughout our lifetime in the way that we have evolved our language in so many ways. So it takes time to change something like this in our lives. So first, be sure to be patient with yourself about this change. And also I want to speak to the fact that you may feel an element of discomfort or even fear or sadness talking about elements and aspects of nature by using they or he or she, or even if you choose to use the word kin. Kin, K-I-N, is another beautiful way to express what the living, breathing world is. And if you do find yourself experiencing some discomfort about this, again, acknowledge it and allow yourself to reflect on it and to consider what is it that is bringing up that sense of discomfort, because this is really a relearning process of reconnecting in a deeper way with your sacred and healing relationship with nature. It might feel uncomfortable to begin to recognize that there is no separation, that plants are not its, that animals are not its, that starting to refer to them as they or he or she or kin can bring up a sense of grief over that disconnection that our society has generated in throughout our lifetimes and before that. And know that this is not about, I, I, I really want to dissuade you from going to a place of guilt over how you have interacted with nature in the past. I have had some people tell me that just connecting more deeply with trees, for instance, has brought up a lot of sadness and even grief over how they use paper or walk on hardwood floors or use their, cabinets in their kitchen. Now, I know on some level that might sound, like overdoing it, but when we start to develop this relationship with these aspects of nature that are allowing us to lead the lives that we do, it can be a little overwhelming to begin to acknowledge and recognize just how much nature is supporting you in every single way, every single day. So, if you do find yourself stepping into that place of sadness or grief or even guilt over how you depend upon nature and interact with nature, I really encourage you to first extend yourself compassion, because this is part of the healing of that wound of disconnection. So start by extending yourself compassion and also move to a place of gratitude, and even if possible, a an offering in some way, or an action that is a kind of reciprocity. Maybe choosing to plant a tree, choosing to plant native plants to help our pollinators even more in all aspects of nature. Choose to do something positive with those feelings that you have, because we don't want this process of reconnecting with nature as a living, breathing entity, being, spirit. We don't want this to push you into a place of grief that will only intensify the disconnection and even the anxiety that you're already feeling. So I just wanted to mention that, because that is a very real feeling that many people have when they start to open their eyes to how alive nature is and the depth of support that Mother Earth is providing you every single day. So, in closing, I encourage you to begin to refer to nature as they or he or she, and see how that feels in your days as you practice this. It will require practice because, of course, once again, this is a habit that we have created through our social and cultural conditioning. And I encourage you to take the step in healing the wounds of disconnection by changing the way that you speak of nature. All right, everybody. If this resonated for you, I welcome you to experience a free breakthrough session with me where we can take the time to chat one on one. You can let me know what is going on for you, where you are feeling a yearning to go in your relationship with yourself and with nature. And we'll see if I am the coach to help get you there. It could be about easing anxiety. It could be about making a change in your life as you're feeling drawn to make, and to deepening your connection with yourself so that you can hear your intuitive guidance, your deep wisdom, which is always so much easier and healing to access through your relationship with Mother Earth. To book your free breakthrough session, you can go to ournaturalwisdom.com/breakthrough, or you can click on the link down below in the description. Thank you once again for joining me. I'll see you again next Tuesday at 10 here on YouTube Live. It was such a pleasure to be with you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.